Hi, this is JC with Route4Me. Today's webinar will be about third-party logistics companies so that you don't have to worry about sacrificing your quality. Who do we have joining today? Looks like we got Steven, we got Melanie, we got Megan. Looks like James is joining as well. Welcome, guys. Welcome to today's webinar. So the main concern today is how can we use vendors or third-party logistics companies, and the main concern is, well, how can I make sure that I don't sacrifice my quality of service when using a third-party company? Well, today's Route4Me's functionalities will help us do that and make sure that we're using only the right vendors, make sure that we're keeping a good eye on what the vendors are doing and making sure they're meeting our standards. So without any more explanations, we're going to go into Route4Me right now. I'm going to go into my home account. Once I go into the system, all I see is my list of routes that have been saved, and well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new vendor. So I will go into my team section. I will add a new vendor like this, add vendor. I will type in the name of the company, the contact name, their email, their phone number, the rates, and all the variables that I need to include to create a vendor. Once I save that vendor, they will display on a list like this. Once I have my vendors ready, all I have to do is go and create users. As the account owner, I will create sub-users, drivers, driver 1, driver 2, driver 3, and so on. Once the driver is created, I will go and modify the user. Driver name, their email, I can set up their password. I can also set up the roles and access options. I can set up the driver to be able to make changes to the route on their mobile device. I can have them have access to the global address book and see all the customers that we have available, or restrict that access. Multiple functionalities on their user role and access options that you can modify accordingly to your best practices. Okay, so once I do that, all I have to do is just click on the drop down for vendor right here and select the correct one. Select from the drop down. Okay, in this case we're going to use this class. All right, so then we modify the user and save it, basically. Okay, now once I have my drivers assigned to the specific vendor and I go to my routes map, I can start distinguishing which routes belong to what vendor. So if I select multiple ones right here, like this, I'll start identifying which route belongs to what vendor. Once I do this, I can simply go to the file, download this route at the same time, and export to determine which, to compare the routes and determine which company is performing better for me. I will assign the user as well to each route. Let's say driver 1. Apply. Once the driver has been assigned, I can recognize maybe the name of the driver or the domain on their email and determine which vendor this driver belonged to. Once I do that, like I said, I can export my list of routes at the same time to compare performance and determine which vendors have been more successful or more profitable for my company. Okay. At this point, we're basically done with this explanation. I'm going to open it up for a quick Q&A. If anyone's got a question, please feel free to ask right now.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Stephen.
So how can you view all the activity for a specific driver?
Okay. Well, that's a very good question, Stephen. All you will have to do is go into your route section, onto your routes list. You can then call in by the name of the driver, driver 1. Oops, hold on a second. Okay, as you can see, right now I can select the driver that I have assigned, depending on what the driver is doing. I can select the routes and then file, export, and then create a CSV file so that I can have manageable data and compare what the driver is doing. That answer your question?
Yep,
All right,
that answers
fantastic.
my question.
All right. Anything else? Anyone else has a question? All right, fantastic. Well, in that case, guys, we're going to finish today's webinar. I hope this was helpful, and be on the lookout for the next one on the next easy-to-use functionality from Route4Me. Thank you. Have a good one.